What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and this is a build video and overview of my newest Caliburn, the White Strike Caliburn, with my red tooth and nail. So check it out. Alright you guys, so I finally got myself a 3D printer, and now I can finally give tooth and nail a proper home. So let's go ahead and clear some space and put this thing together. This thing is gonna be gorgeous. Alright you guys, she is complete, and I could not be happier with how it turned out. It looks gorgeous, and I obviously went with the works. All the possible things almost that you can do to a Caliburn I did to this thing. Really the only thing that I left out was the handguard, but pretty much everything else is decked out to the nines, and I think it looks really, really cool. This is definitely meant to be more of a long-range sniper than something that's more mobile and, lightweight. This has definitely got some heft to it, and that has to do with all the stuff on it, obviously, and a little bit to do with the infill, especially with that magwell. I went with like 50% infill of pretty much all the three parts that create the teardown magwell. So that thing should hopefully not be breaking anytime soon. But nevertheless, let's take this thing outside and fire it off, because I know that's what you want to see, and then we'll come back inside and we'll talk about all the details of this blaster. Alright, you guys, my white strike Caliburn, and that's what I'm dubbing this color scheme, as it's kind of a combination of whiteout and the red strike line. And Hasbro, if you want to copy this color scheme, go right ahead. I think a mainly white blaster with some red and some gray accents would be sweet. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and put some shots over the chronograph. It is a bit cold outside, so I am taking a risk here. I would not recommend using 3D printed blasters very often out in the cold, but hopefully we can get away with it with a few shots here. So here we go. First shot, actually, the test shot went 241, when that's with a full-length AccuFake dart, and we will be using AccuFace to start out, and then we will go to some half-length workers in a new Talon mag that I have not tested out yet, so that'll be pretty cool. I do have my Scarl barrel on here, and it is twisted a little bit. I'm not sure how much twist I have on there, maybe about a quarter twist, so that'll be pretty good, and that might hurt FPS a little bit, but accuracy should be on point. So here we go. 237. Duplicate 237, 240, 237, 231, 239, 229, 235, 242, duplicate 242. All right, let's go ahead and switch to half links. 236, 234, 239, 234, 238, 235, 236, very consistent, 237, 245, 244, 249. I mean, this thing is just a beast. Let's go back inside and I'll talk more about this blaster and just about the Caliburn in general, the 3D printing process that I went through while putting this together, and what's to come in the Naptown Nerf 3D printing world. So here we go. All right, you guys. So obviously this thing has got some pop, about 240 FPS with the scar barrel attached, shooting darts that are more so for accuracy than ultimate power, but that's pretty darn good. Pretty happy with that, and pretty standard for a K25 Caliburn with a longer barrel. It may even be able to hit harder than that if I tune it up a little bit. Obviously, that's basically just throwing it together and going out and firing it off. But yeah, pretty happy with this thing. The Caliburn has just come so far. I remember when I tried my friend's, right when he first designed the thing for a 3D printer. I think that was like at End War the first year, and I wasn't overly impressed. I don't know exactly what that was hitting. I think it was more probably in that 200 range, but Prime was pretty tough, and yeah, it's just come so far. I mean, I am overly impressed with the Caliburn. It is one of my favorite blasters. It definitely is the most popular 3D printed Nerf blaster ever made, and it is probably the best. The FDL is obviously right there too, with the Jupiter right there behind it, in my opinion. But I'd put this in the FDL 3, like 1 and 1A. They serve two different purposes, but obviously this thing is just awesome. And when it comes to open source, I think this is probably the #1, obviously, blaster out there. Anybody can build this thing. Buy a hardware kit. It's not too expensive, so it's much more affordable, obviously, than FDL. And I just think you can do so many cool things with this thing, and you can tune it to pretty much any FPS that you could want that for your game type. So I think that's really cool. We see people minimizing it now, and that's just awesome. I hope to make a smaller one, maybe even in this paint scheme, because I'm just loving this paint scheme. And I keep saying paint scheme, but it is a filament scheme. Color scheme. That's probably what I should say. Color scheme. Nevertheless, let's talk about the filaments I use. This is an inland white filament. And then we have a stealth gray from Paramount 3D, I believe. And then the red, which is just absolutely gorgeous. And it probably isn't even going to show up on camera or on video, but it is very, very pretty. It is a Protopasta metallic candy apple red, and it just matches these parts from Drac, the one and only Lord Draconical, the tooth and nail, which is just amazing. I love them. The trigger just feels so nice. I love that metal trigger. The plunger looks awesome in there, and I love how it's just partially visible, which I think is kind of cool. And then obviously you have that metal sear that is going to last a very long time. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. There's a few things I might change. I love this foregrip in terms of its looks, but comfort is not as comfortable as the other one I have on my, yes, I named it, guys, Assassin-15LH. Look that up. It's pretty cool. But that's what I've gone with, or we just call it Assassin for short. And yeah, I love the foregrip on that, and that is from my friends over at Blaster Core. They're both obviously based off the Pyragon, Vortex Pyragon grip, so that's pretty cool. But this one's smaller, not as comfortable, but it does look nice, and it's really cool that you can put it in like three different filaments. So I like that about it. It is just a little wobbly on there, and I did actually put some electrical tape, and it's still a little wobbly. So I might have to fix that, or I might just go back to the Blaster Core version. But the extendable stock looks really cool. I'm glad that I got that this time. I might actually even try to print out one for my other Caliburn, because I think it looks really cool. It does add just a little bit of length, and I think that feels really nice. I do kind of miss the pad, though. The softness of the pad was nice, so if you could kind of combine the two, I think that would be cool. But I do like the look of it with a 3D printed stock, and I understand that that's obviously makes more sense, especially now that Worker's printing these off, which I have mixed feelings about. I prefer printing them out myself because I know what kind of infills go into certain parts. Some things you want more, some things you want less. I pretty much printed most of this out with a 30% infill. A few of the red parts were 20% things that weren't structural. And then the magwell, which the two bigger halves took over 20 hours to print, because I went with a 50% infill on those, along with the coupler. Also, one thing that I did was I went with the Esper trigger guard here, and it's just a lot thicker and stronger and sturdier, and I really like it a lot. I'm not sure if it's the same one. I believe it's probably the same one that goes with the handguard if you decide to go with that, because it has those little two screw ports in there. But I really like it a lot. I might have to switch Assassins, because that one's a little loose and wobbly, and it does seem a little fragile at times. So I like this a lot more. I decided not to go with the handguard because it just seems a little bulky to me and just doesn't flow with the blaster as well. The scar barrel is really cool. I have the exact same scar on Assassin and really like it. I may print out another muzzle for this, for looks, but we will see. Honestly, the worst part about this is this right here, and it is very wobbly, so I need to figure out a way to secure that. I like the look of this iron sight, and it is pretty tall. It could be a little taller to kind of line up with the EOTech sight there that's on my rail riser, which is cool. I like the rail riser a lot more than I thought I would, and it makes you be able to sight in that thing really, really nicely. So I think I've covered pretty much everything. This is the new RMAX 2 body kit, and by the way, all this stuff is available for you to print yourself on Thingiverse. I will link all the things that I printed, all the parts that I used in the description box. along to where you can purchase your own hardware kit so you can build your own, or you could also purchase one from Captain Slug himself printed, but that usually takes a little while and it's hard to get. Obviously you can't get colors like this. He has his own color selection and they're a little limited, and his print quality is known to be not the best, as he has limited time and has to print things somewhat quickly. So keep that in mind, but nevertheless, Slug has done an amazing job with this project. It blows me away. I think he's done like 900 blasters, I think I saw, which is incredible. And so he's almost to 1,000 just himself building, and that's not including all the ones that people have built themselves. So really, really awesome. Also, this is the Doom Shroud, which is the underneath part that the Armax 2 kit goes on top of, and they just complement each other really, really nicely in my opinion. So I think that turned out great. The part back here is also part of the Armax 2 kit, and it all looks great, and I think it all flows really well together. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little build video slash overview of my newest Caliburn. I don't really have a name for it besides White Strike Caliburn. If you guys think I need to have another name, maybe Cupid, since it's Valentine's Day. I don't think I like that name that much. Scratch that idea. That was a horrible idea. Nevertheless, thank you for watching. I will be doing more 3D printed stuff now that I have a 3D printer, obviously, so let me know in the comment section what you would like to see me do. If there's kits out there that you want me to print out, other complete Nerf blasters, if there's those things that you would like to see me build on the channel, let me know. Anything, basically, you can find on Thingiverse, anything you can find for free, let me know. I have a few planned, including an Esper coming out really soon in this same White Strike scheme, which I think is going to look awesome, and I'm excited to build that one. So look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I think we're right at 13,000 subs, and that is awesome. If you're not subscribed, please do so and ring that bell for notifications if you haven't done that. Don't forget to like the video, guys. It really helps out the channel and really helps out the YouTube algorithm, so I'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, peace out.